D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can, read them for yourself, or you can just watch this video. I'm going to read it to you and everything. Also, before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, now that we got that business out of the way, you guys, why don't we go ahead and get started on these 3 stories? Okay, so for my first story this week, this is a big one, you guys. This comes from Variety. Man, did they give a hit piece on Marvel this week. Now, this happened Wednesday. I'm sorry I'm not getting to it till now, but, I got a life, So they got some great cartoon drawings and stuff of this stuff, and it's so good. So it says, Crisis at Marvel, Jonathan Majors, backup plans, the Marvels Reshoots, reviving original Avengers, and more issues revealed. This is by Tatiana Siegel. Now, this article, you guys, was juicy. Oh my goodness, it was the juiciest. So let me read this, and I've got thoughts on all of it, you guys. I'm quite excited about it. So it says, the past September, a group of Marvel creatives, including studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, the vibe would have been confident, even cocky, given how the premier superhero brand owned by Disney since 2009 has remade the entertainment business in its image. But this occasion was angst-ridden. Everyone at Marvel was reeling from a series of disappointments on screen, a legal scandal involving one of its biggest stars, and questions about the viability of the studio's ambitious strategy to extend the brand beyond movies into streaming. The most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat was what to do about Jonathan Majors, the actor who had been poised to carry the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead is headed to a high-profile trial in New York later this month on domestic violence charges. The actor insists he is the victim, but the damage to his reputation and the chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of its interlocking slate of sequels, spin-offs, and series around Major's villainous character, Kang the Conqueror. Now, let me just real quick say, to talk about this Jonathan Majors situation. First off, I do not want this to turn into another Johnny Depp situation where Johnny Depp, kept quiet the whole time, and then it came out that Amber Heard was a fucking bitch and she was a liar, and that he was completely vindicated when that trial went down, and you found out that she just lied her head off and shit in his bed, which is gross. I don't like anybody that deals with that kind of nonsense is just not a rightful human being. So the Jonathan Majors situation is, still ongoing. But I have to say right now, I say don't recast. I don't know. I have to be honest, when it comes to people in their personal lives, I stay out of it. I mean, I find it juicy and I love hearing about it because I love gossip and all that stuff. But as long as it doesn't involve me, I'm fine with it. But I think that I'm good at separating the art from the artist. So, I mean, in all honesty, I'm not paying attention to Jonathan Majors' personal life when I go watch a movie. Second, I just want to say that I don't think if they do recast, which I would also be fine with, I don't care about Kang the Conqueror. I thought it was a crappy villain to pull ahead as the big bad. I've never liked Kang the Conqueror in the comic books. I still don't like Kang the Conqueror in the comic books. So I don't like Jonathan Majors' take on Kang. Any version of his Kang, I think they're all bad. So I'm fine with whatever they pull with this. I mean, if they just say, who's Kang the Conqueror, after Loki, which I did see a scooper say that they had somebody had seen the final episode of Loki, which is not this week but next week. They said that Marvel is fucked because they went all in on Kang, and I'm just like, let's see what happens there. All right, let me finish and keep reading this and everything. So it says, at the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary like Doctor Doom, which I think would be a good idea. They should have went to Doctor Doom right off the bat. Listen, I like all the space stuff, like with the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, but that's like its own thing. I think that when all these superheroes keep, like Carol Danvers came back to Earth. I go, listen, if you're going to come back to Earth, then just have an Earth villain. You know, Thanos was a space villain and you brought it back to Earth. If you're going to do this stuff, you're going to have an Earth, you're going to have all this stuff take place on Earth, then have an Earth villain. And Doctor Doom is a great villain. I know some people might not think so, but if you're a comic book fan like me, Doctor Doom is fantastic. I love Doctor Doom. So I would love to see that whole thing go down. Anyways, but making any shift would carry its own headaches. Majors was already a big presence in the MCU, including as the scene-stealing antagonist in February's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It was terrible. There were some parts where his line reading was just so embarrassing. Like, I was embarrassed for him. And he has been positioned as the franchise's next big thing in this season of Loki. Particularly in the finale, which airs on November 9th and sets up Kang as the titular star of a fifth Avengers film in 2026, which I think that it's fine, but like, I just don't care. Kang has been terrible this entire time, and I have not liked any rendition of him. So if they get rid of him, fine. If they keep it, fine. I don't care. I'm just like, whatever. Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle, says one top deal maker who has seen the final Loki episode. This is what I was talking about. Sorry, I had read this before. So this is what I was talking about before, when I said that somebody had said that and they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because of the WGA strike. But I don't see a path how they move forward with him. Beyond the bad press for Majors, the brain trust at Marvel is also grappling with the November release of the Marvels. Ooh, that's going to be bad. A sequel to 2019's blockbuster Captain Marvel that has been with lengthy reshoots and now appears likely to underwhelm at the box office. I think so too. I think it's not going to do good. It talks about a little bit more. I'm going to keep reading this because this is a lengthy article, but I really want to go over all this stuff with you guys because Daddy's got thoughts. The Marvels is screwed. I mean, I don't know anybody, even Marvel fans, even comic book fans, who are interested in this movie. Now, the first movie was fine. Like, it was very mediocre at best. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And it was sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame. So, of course, it did well because they made it sound like you had to see Captain Marvel to get her character in Endgame, which was a lie. You didn't have to watch Captain Marvel. And it's fine that it made $1 billion, even though it was just mediocre. That's fine. But it wasn't that great. And anybody that praises it up and down, I'm sorry, then you just must love mediocre. You must love vanilla all the time because that movie was fine, but it wasn't anything more than that. Okay. So it says, this is all an unprecedented turn of fortune for the company that has enjoyed a nearly uninterrupted string of hits ever since it started independently producing its movies in 2008's Iron Man. That wildly profitable run culminated in the $2.8 billion success of 2019's Avengers Endgame. A high water studio has earned over 30. Okay. So, so far, they've done really good. Replicating that kind of phenomenon is never easy. However, you know what? Yes, it would have been easy, but you guys pivoted into Marvel now. You guys went to these characters that nobody liked, nobody cares about. I'm talking Ms. Marvel. I'm talking Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. I'm talking America Chavez. I'm talking, if you would have done Miles Morales, I guess so. It's a little too early, I think, for Miles Morales, just because Peter Parker is so young. But and you did Ironheart. These are characters nobody gives a shit about, and you guys just ruined it. And then you went woke, which was bad news bears. However, the source of Marvel's current troubles can be tracked back to 2020. That's when the COVID pandemic ushered in a mandate to help boost Disney's stock price with an endless torrent of interconnected Marvel content for the studio's fledgling streaming platform Disney Plus. There is some truth to that. According to the plan, there would never there never was a lapse in superhero fare with either a film in theaters or a new television series streaming on any given moment. But the ensuing tsunami of spandex proved to be too much of a good thing. Hold on, let me get past this because, okay, so it talks about the streaming service and how that kind of ruined everything. And I have to agree, the streaming service did not help like at all, because they put out too much all at once. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like seeing it. I like seeing all this stuff, but the shows have just been terrible in my opinion. They're all bad except for Hawkeye. I liked Hawkeye except for the finale. The finale really kind of, I was just like, I was like, it wasn't that great. And what they did to Kingpin was kind of like crappy, but at the same time, it's better than anything else they've done. I haven't liked any of the other shows. I mean, there was there was one episode of What If that I liked, and then there was a couple of parts of What If I liked, like a couple of scenes from different episodes. Anyways, okay. Because we're gonna get into a little bit of other stuff in here. I'm excited. The Marvel machine has pumped out a lot of content. Did you get to the point where there was too much and they were burning people out on superheroes? It's possible, says Wall Street analyst Eric Hadler. So I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about Nina DaCosta. It's in here. Okay. The Marvels, yeah, because Nina DaCosta, what a friggin' moron that asshole is. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, The Marvels, which opens up in theaters on November 10th, which is any day now, will struggle to get the ball past the infield, at least by Marvel's outsized standards. The movie, which cost $250 million, and see, what I heard it cost more than that with all the reshoots and stuff. Anyways, and sees Brie Larson reprising her role as Captain Marvel, is tracking to open to 75 million to 80 million. I'd be surprised if it made it. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to call it now. I'm thinking 30 million. It makes like 25 to 30 million its opening weekend. If it made 80 million, they should be happy about that. Far below the 185 million Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness took the domestically in its debut weekend last year. Directed by Nina DaCosta, The Marvels unites Larson's heroine with two superpowered allies. Hold on, I don't need the storyline here. Oh, here. Oh, yeah, let's read this. But instead of seamlessly building on the success of Captain Marvel, this movie resulted in 4 weeks of reshoots to bring coherence to a tangled storyline. So that means they shot everything, and then the story didn't make any sense when they tried to put it together. And I'm just like, you guys, how did this not get got before it got greenlit? How did you not have a cohesive storyline before you shot a single scene? Like, that's insane to me. Man, Kevin Feige has really dropped the ball. He's just gotten really lazy, in my opinion. He's gotten lazy, and it shows. It shows. Look at all the crap they've put out. And I'm sorry, listen, you can there's no way you like all of Phase 5. I mean, like, if you look at Endgame and then backwards, there's no way you liked all of Marvel Phase 1 through 4, okay? There's no way. But I'll tell you right now, Phase 5, in my opinion, has been the worst. It's put out clunker after clunker, in my opinion. And I'm talking about quality. Maybe it made money, but, I mean, they really didn't make money. I mean, No Way Home was pretty good, though. I did enjoy that. Anyways, okay. Then eyebrows were raised again when DaCosta began working on another film while The Marvels was still in post-production. The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin prepping for her Tessa Thompson drama, Heda. A representative for DaCosta declined to comment. Okay, so real quick, I have something to say about this. How unprofessional of Nina DaCosta. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. This woman gets an opportunity of a lifetime. She only did Candyman, that remake of Candyman, which or a sequel, whatever the fuck it was. I did a review on that. I'll leave it in the iCard section. You want to check it out. But that movie sucked. And Nina DaCosta, everybody wanted to praise her, and I'm all like, I don't see it. You guys are praising nothing, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong. If she can pull a rabbit out of her hat, great. But it wasn't with Candyman, and it's not going to be with the Marvels. But so after post-production, so they filmed, she said, this is going to be bad, I'm out, and moved to London. She moved across the pond and moved to London to film probably what's going to be a crappy Tessa Thompson movie, because Tessa Thompson has one facial expression. It's okay. But so like unprofessional. And I'm pretty sure, like, if I was a studio head, I'd be like, I can't hire her. She's going to bail. during post-production. And the director is the captain of the ship. And if the captain isn't there, the ship goes under. You know what I'm saying? And she could bring maybe whatever. Everybody was always like, but her, what did they say? Her visual aesthetics were so pleasing during Candyman. She did such a great job. I feel bad for her with the Marvels. And I'm like, I don't feel bad for her. I mean, the Candyman visually, it was like not that great. I don't know what the hell you all are talking about, but whatever. If you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go, says a source familiar with the production. That's so true. The Marvels has seen its release date move back twice, too. Once to swap places with Quantumania, which was deemed further along. And again, when its debut shifted from July to November to give the filmmakers more time to tinker, but the extra time didn't necessarily help. In June, Marvel, which traditionally only solicits feedback from Disney employees and their friends and families, took the uncharacteristic step in holding a public test screening in Texas. The audience gave the film middling reviews. I saw some people chastising Marvel for doing this in Texas, but I think wherever you were going to do it, it was going to be bad. I'm sorry. I can't see how people could I mean, listen, we have to be honest. This movie does not look good. It just doesn't look good. So there's the original Avengers. But yeah. All right, let's go on to the next thing, because the Marvels is just done. And I'm sorry, like they're so stupid over there at Marvel, so dumb. But Marvel has never been in the business of being average. Kevin's real superpower is his genius has always been in post-production and getting his hands on movies and making sure that they finish strongly. The source adds, these days, he's spread thin. Feige declined to comment for this story. Feige isn't the only person showing signs of strain, which I just want to say, like, that's always been his thing. Like, we can fix it in post. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Not everything can be fixed in post. I'm sorry. I do not understand right now, Marvel and Hollywood in general, why they want to film and they're just like, oh, if we have any problems, we'll fix it later. No, why don't you fix it now? One thing that James Gunn did when he took over with DC was he said, we're not going to make a movie until we're all set to go. Like, the script is finished. We know what we're going to do. Everything's good to go because we want quality over quantity. And I mean, that's how Marvel should be. Marvel has always been, even if the movie was bad, it still looked good. Like Thor: The Dark World was just trash in my opinion. But I can look at it and be like, you know what? It was, I think the visuals were done, and I think that they tried to make a good movie. It just wasn't good. And I just go, that's, but the visually, like the visual effects were done, and they probably did not have to reshoot on that movie. They just made a crappy movie. Let's see. Marvel's entire VFX battalion, including staffers and vendors, is struggling to keep pace with the never-ending stream of productions. This past February, when the credits rolled at the premiere of Quantumania, shock rippled through the Regency Village Theater in Westwood over some shabby CGI. There were at least 10 scenes where the visual effects had been added at the last minute and were out of focus, says one veteran power broker who was there. It was insane. Gosh, I've never seen something like that in my entire career. Everyone was talking about it. Even the kids and the executives were talking about it. So, it's so sad. It's so sad. The schedule swap with the Marvels, had left Ant-Man sequel in a squeeze, pushing up its post-production schedule by 4.5 months, which is insane. Listen, I don't do visual effects like personally, but I do know people that do that stuff, and for them to push it up that fast is just insane. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised that it took, and they're going, it says right here that they're going on strike. They're going to try to go on strike or unionize now because they've just had enough. And I think that that's good. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of unions, but there are times when unions are needed. And this would be one of them because it's very obvious that they don't treat their employees right. All right, so the year 2023 was the straw that broke the camel's back, says former Marvel Studio visual effects assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus on October 19th to testify about the studio's untenable deadlines and working conditions. The pay and the long hours at Marvel were the reason we had to start our unionization process there. The conditions were completely unsustainable. I'm not going to read too much anymore into that just because, yeah, they're unionizing now because they suck. Okay. But some internal sources suggest Alonso. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they talk about Victoria Alonso, who has been fired, how she was just toxic. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, if you saw her, she came off very toxic on the red carpet, in my opinion. Was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk visual effects issues as a symptom of a deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on the script development. In the original arc of She-Hulk, a flashback of star Tatiana Maslany's transformation into her Hulk character didn't take place until episode 8, the penultimate episode. But after Marvel's Brain Trust watched footage, it realized the scene needed to happen in the pilot episode so that audiences could see more of the character's backstory early. That meant that the visual effects team was tasked with fixing the mess in post-production. And let me just tell you right now, She-Hulk was a friggin' abortion, in my opinion. It was bad. I did not like that show, not one fucking bit. It kind of angered me at some points in time, but it was just bad. It was a shit show. I love Tatiana Maslany. She's hot as shit. But like, how do you not know what to do on your show? It's so bad. It's so bad. The so-called bad visual effects we see was because of a half-baked script, says one person involved with She-Hulk, that is not Victoria, that is Kevin. And even above Kevin, those issues, we have, what was her name? Megan Gao or whatnot. She's the one that really hurt She-Hulk because they just hired all these Rick and Morty writers. And I'm sorry, but, it's so stupid. Like you can't. Rick and Morty's a good show. I'm not dissing on Rick and Morty, and I'm saying like maybe Jessica Gao, maybe she wrote really good Rick and Morty episodes. I don't know which one she wrote. I didn't look it up, but maybe she wrote a really good Rick and Morty episode. But just because you can write one good Rick and Morty episode, or maybe a handful, doesn't mean you can write a whole show and make it good. And She-Hulk was bad all the way around. All right, so let me just real quick fast forward because I wanted to get to the next one because the visual effects thing, I'm hammering it. Okay, now I want to talk about the Blade movie because right here, okay. So Blade, okay, so here's the Blade portion of this thing. As public criticism mounts, Feige is pulling the plug on scripts and projects that aren't working. Case in point, the Blade reboot with Mahershala Ali signed on for the eponymous role of the vampire. Things look promising for 2023 release date. Yeah, I was excited about Blade. I mean, I don't really know about Blade from the comic books, so that was really not my area where I read from the comic books, but I remember him from the cartoon, the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s, and the Blade movies from the early 2000s. I love those movies with Wesley Snipes. So good. And Mahershala Ali, I love Mahershala Ali. He's such a great actor. So him being Blade was fantastic. And he just got off winning that Oscar for the Green Book. And so he went over to Marvel and was like, hey, I'm going to spend this Oscar capital on Marvel. I want to be in the Marvel universe. I want to be Blade. And they said, yes, please. Because, I mean, he's an Oscar winner, But then some bad stuff happened. So let's read. But the project has gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, and 1 shutdown 6 weeks before production. One person familiar with the script, premutations say that the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to the 4th lead, a bizarre idea considering that the studio had 2-time Oscar winner Ali on board. That to me is freaking nards. You know what I'm saying? The fact that the movie's called Blade, it should be about Blade. Why are you adding in all these other assholes in here? Like, you remember the first Blade movie? You had Blade, and then you had that female sidekick. And yeah, she was helpful, but it was all about Blade. Second movie, you had Whistler. You had Whistler in there too. The second movie, you had Whistler. I think didn't he die in that second movie? I can't remember. But you had Blade, and they were trying to fight those crazy vampires. I think you had one more person there. I can't remember that one too much. And then that third one, yeah, you had Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel, and was that the only two? And then somebody else in there. So I mean, of course, but they took a backseat to Blade. He was still in there, and it was still good. Okay. Amid reports that Ali was ready to exit over script issues, Feige went back to the drawing board and hired Michael Green, the Oscar-nominated writer of Logan, to start anew. Speculation around town is that the studio is looking to make the film, now slated for 2025, on a budget of less than $100 million, a deviation from Marvel's big spending strategy. I don't think that you need to spend over $100 million to make a Blade movie. I mean, Blade, yeah, he's a vampire and he's got like powers and stuff like that, but the vampires don't need to be like, I don't think you really need a bunch of CGI. You know what I'm saying? For that, I think that I'm pretty sure they made that first Blade movie from, what was it, 2000? Was it 2000? I'm pretty sure they made that under 100 million. So I'm pretty sure they can make this movie under 100 million. And that movie still stands up, in my opinion. With Iger publicly acknowledged the downside of Marvel TV glut that diluted focus and attention, the keepers of the comic book empire are considering some dramatic moves. Sources say there have been talks to bring back the original gang for an Avengers movie. This would include reviving Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, both of whom were killed off in Endgame. That shouldn't be a stumble block in the comic books. Beloved characters are often killed off only to be resurrected thanks to the power of things like the multiverse. Now, I want to say one more thing about this because I don't know how I don't think they should bring them back unless they do a in-betweequel movie where they have the Avengers having some kind of a mission in between certain movies, but they'd have to explain. They can't be like the Eternals where it's got like a celestial in the ocean and everything, and then they never bring it up again. But maybe just bring maybe have in there some other stuff, like maybe have them do a mission. I think that might be fun. I don't know if they would do it or whatnot, but I think that that's better than just bringing him back. Now, Tony Stark did come back in the comic books as an AI. That might be possible. I mean, but I don't know, man. I just don't think it's going to work out. And I think that they really just they really did bad with this multiverse and Kang situation, but whatever. Well, that solved Marvel's major problem when the Quantumania actor was arrested in March. Disney executive insisted, wait, did I skip something here? Oh, I did, but it's fine. Disney executives insisted that they could afford to play a wait-and-see game given the Avengers Kang Dynasty wasn't expected to begin shooting until early 2024. But when Majors was dropped in quick succession by his publicists and managers, he remains a client at WME, the agency where he landed after CAA parted ways with him pre-arrest for his brutal conduct towards staff, says one source. CAA declined to comment. Now, I just want to say right now, they say brutal conduct. I want to know what this I want details because I've had situations where somebody will say something to somebody and somebody got like super offended, and I was all like, dude, they just told you to fix your work. Like, that's not even that big a deal. And at my job, I have a position where I have to look over people's work, and if I find a flaw, I say, hey, this is bad and you need to fix it. And I've had people get upset with me about it, like don't tell me how to do my job kind of thing. So if it was one of those things where he said something, or get me a coffee, and then somebody was like, you're not telling me what to do kind of thing, maybe. I'm pretty sure it wasn't physically attacking somebody because, I think that would come out, but we'll see. Now it says in April, other alleged domestic violence victims of Majors began cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney Office. Then ahead of the key hearing in October, media outlets, including Variety, obtained a court filing that referenced a police incident in London involving Majors that led his ex-girlfriend to seek medical attention, making matters even stickier. The ex-girlfriend also worked on Quantumania as a movement coach, and the London incident took place while Majors was shooting season 2 of Loki on December 25th. A New York judge denied Majors' motion to dismiss the case, which ensures that the actor will stand trial in late November. This legal team is attempting to keep some material in the case sealed. Now, I say wait it out. I mean, what if this turns into another Johnny Depp situation? Like, and like Warner Brothers, they basically fired Johnny Depp well, he stepped away, but it was basically one of those ultimatum things, like you step away respectfully, or we'll just fire you in disgrace. And I think that hurt their Fantastic Beasts movie. I mean, I think that hurt it a lot. I mean, granted, those movies weren't the best, but I'm telling you right now, I mean, I only went and seen it because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but nobody went and seen that movie. And I'm pretty sure the Johnny Depp situation had a part to play in that. So I think this will have a part to play in it. So let's continue. A studio source notes that regardless of the actor's legal issues, Marvel already had considered moving away from a Majors-led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania, which will struggle to make a profit. It gave people pause given that Quantumania didn't exactly land, the source says. I'm sorry, this happened before this. I mean, Thor Love and Thunder sucked. Shang-Chi sucked. What else came out? The Eternals sucked. They all sucked. So get the fuck out of here with that noise about how it was Quantumania. It was dead before that. Let's see. I'm not going to read any more of this. Sorry, guys. A key reinvigorating Marvel may lie with the superhero arsenal that Disney acquired during the 2019 purchase of 20th Century Fox. That deal brought several blue chip heroes, such as the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, back under the studio's control. Already fans are geeking out about next year's Deadpool 3. Me too. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be so good. Month with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and a reboot of the Fantastic Four slated for 2025, which from what I've seen, it's going to be all about Sue Storm, which is fine, but nobody's going to see a Fantastic Four movie for Sue Storm. I mean, we have to be honest that you're going for the team, but I mean, we'll see how it works out. I'm not going to read any more of this because I've taken up so much of your time, you guys, and that's pretty much the end of it. But let me just say right now, Marvel, get your shit together, yo, because you guys are a floundering fish at this point. I don't know, man, if you guys are going to be able to pick it up, but we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see how that works out and everything. All right, you guys, that was my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, and this one comes from Deadline, my favorite. And Disney is set to buy Comcast's Hulu stake for at least $8.6 billion, which I'm like, where are you guys getting this money from? Is that the money that Kevin Feige or Bob Iger said they were going to set aside so that way they could save that money so they could buy this? Is that what they were doing? And they did all those cuts and everything. I'll real quick get through this story and everything so I don't keep it too long. So it says Disney, as expected, is going all in for Hulu. A day after the streamer co-owned by Disney and Comcast formally went on the market, Disney said Wednesday that it plans to acquire the remaining 33% stake in Hulu it doesn't own from the NBC Universal parent for an expected price of $8.61 billion. Let me just tell you right now, Universal, the rumor is, or at least people are speculating, that Universal wants to buy Warner Brothers. And that's why Zaslav, he went in there and he bought Warner Brothers Discovery. He brought Discovery. He bought Warner Brothers so that way he could fix it up, shine it up, make it all brand new, and then sell it. And the rumor is that Universal wants to buy it. And now they're going to have $8.6 billion to buy it. Like, cha-ching for Zazzy and everything. Anyways, Disney said the $8.6 billion represents NBCU's percentage of the $27.5 billion guaranteed floor value. The Hulu that was established when Disney and Comcast entered into their 2019 agreement, minus the anticipated outstanding capital call contributions payable by NBCU to Disney. I don't know what that stuff is, so please don't ask me. I'm the business portion of it I love, but I get a little confused sometimes. Okay, that said, Hulu's equity fair value will be assessed as of September 30th, 2023, Disney said. And if the value is ultimately determined to be greater than the guaranteed floor value, Disney will pay NBCU its percentage of the difference between the equity. So, okay, hold on. Let me just read this part. It is unclear when the appraisal process will be conducted. So basically, if it's worth more, they're going to pay Comcast for what the rest of it and everything. In September, Comcast CEO Brian Roberts called the initial minimum valuation of $27.5 billion just a hypothetical, suggesting the final price tag could be much higher, citing Nielsen data. He said engagement on Hulu is 2 to 3 times that of rival streamers, say Netflix. I have to be honest with you, I don't have Hulu anymore. I stopped buying that shit because I'm like, they do make good stuff on there, and when they do put out something that I want to see, I just go, buy a month, and I think it's like $10.99 or whatever. So $10 for a month. I watch the show that when it all drops, if it's a show or whatever, I just watch it and then I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to do anything. Okay, so it says both sides had been public about wanting to get a deal done, and the timeline had recently been accelerated in early September. The two media giants said they'd modified their Hulu agreement to enable an exact buyout of the streamer to launch on September 30th instead of January 2024. The multi-appraiser process will see Disney pay the $8.61 billion to Comcast by December 1st as the parties conduct a fair market value analysis that likely will see the final price rise. Disney assumed full operational control of Hulu in 2019 as part of a put/call agreement with Comcast. I'm pretty sure Comcast regrets getting into entertainment. That's like, you guys provide my internet service, not my entertainment. It's like Apple. Like, their stuff is good, but I don't go to Apple for entertainment. I go to them for products, I'm not going to read the rest of this. I'll read this, the last paragraph. Hold on, because it gets very wordy and it gets very like businessy. This article. Sorry, I said I would read it to you, but it does get very businessy. But this is the thing. They are going to pay Comcast. They're going to pay Comcast $8.6 billion, which will give Universal ching money to buy Warner Brothers. They're going to buy Warner Brothers, and they're going to put out all new DC stuff and everything. All right, you guys, that was my second story of the week. But here's my third story of the week, you guys. All right, HBO bosses used secret fake accounts to troll TV critics. You guys, this does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form, but it's so embarrassing. Okay, so Casey Bloys ordered staffers to create fake accounts to fire back at critics, according to text conversations reviewed by Rolling Stone as part of a new lawsuit. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Like, if you have to create a fake account so you can troll somebody else, that's so sad. It's so sad. Anyways, in June 2020, Casey Bloys, HBO then president of original program, needed someone to go on a mission. Bloys, who was named HBO's CEO and chairman in October 2022, was irked by a tweet from Vulture TV critic Catherine Van Arkadoc. Oh, that's a long ass name, Van Arkadoc, who had some thoughts about Perry Mason, HBO series starring Matthew Reyes, as a private detective turned defense attorney in 1930s Los Angeles. Real quick, Perry Mason, so good. Season 1's better than season 2, but it's very good. Anyways, the remake of the original 1960s show carves out an original story for Mason, showing flashes of him serving in World War I, which Van Arkadoc felt was weak storytelling days before the series aired on the platform. Seemingly had a screener for review. She subtweeted the series, "Dear Prestige TV," she wrote, "Please find some way to communicate male trauma besides showing me a flashback to the hero's memories of trench warfare." I'm not on her side with that tweet because that's a good way to show trauma, but whatever, it's fine. Blois was annoyed, according to the text messages reviewed by Rolling Stone, and sent Van Arkedok tweet to Catherine McCaffrey, HBO's senior vice president of drama programming. Maybe a Twitter user should tweet that that's a pretty blithe response to what soldiers legitimately go through on the battlefield, he texted. Do you have a secret handle? Couldn't we say, especially given that it's D-Day, to dismiss a soldier's experience like that seems pretty disrespectful. This must be answered. I don't see why he didn't just do it himself. I'm sorry. Like, get in the trenches, if you will, get in the trenches yourself of the Twitter fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I would if it was me. Like, I'd be like, I'm sorry. Like, come on, don't be disrespectful, fucker. Blois was serious. Who can go on a mission? He asked McCaffrey, according to the messages, adding that they needed to find a mole at arm's length from the HBO executive team. We just need a random to make a point and make her feel bad. That's really weird too. But here's the thing though. If I worked for HBO at the time, like I was one of their employees, and they said, hey, Matt, you want to go and tweet this bitch and say this, this, and this, I would do it. I'd just be like, yeah, let's do this. I don't fucking care. Just because I don't care. Twitter's not a real place. But at the same time, it's like, if you want to go, bitch, I'll go. I have no problem. Eventually, Blois landed on a rebuttal to Vanderkalk, according to the messages. I somewhat elitist take. Is there any more traumatic for men and now women than fighting in a war? Sorry if this seems too convenient for you. The exchange was one of the least 6 instances between June 2020 and June 2021 in which Blois and McCaffrey discussed using what they called a secret army to fire back at several TV critics on Twitter, now known as X. Why do they always put that? Just say Twitter or just say X. Anyways, as well as anonymous comments on articles about HBO programming, according to, I'm not going to read the rest of this. Just because like I don't need to, but, and hold on. There was the Idol one. The messages are part of a trove of material being prepared for a previously unreported wrongfully termination lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court. Okay, we're not going to read that. Sorry, guys. That has nothing to do with this, but okay. So he had people go and write these emails. So I want to do that, but I also have another article from The Guardian. The Guardian's trash, but I wanted to read this anyways. So it says, HBO boss apologizes for using fake Twitter accounts to troll TV critics. The HBO CEO and chairman, Casey Blois, has apologized for tasking employees with creating fake Twitter accounts to attack TV critics. Oh, that's so sad, you guys, that he had to do this. I mean, just leave it. Just leave it. I mean, that woman's criticism, even though I didn't agree with it, it wasn't that bad. Like, I'd just been like, okay, fine, whatever. But I don't know, man. It's so crazy. Some people, they just have thin skin. All right. Blois was responding to a bombshell Rolling Stone report that referenced alleged text messages between himself and Kathleen McCaffrey, HBO's senior vice president of drama programming. 6 conversations the pair discussed a secret army that could respond to TV critics who gave HBO shows a negative review. During a representation for HBO and Max's upcoming program, Blois addressed the allegations. And this is what he said. Let's get this because this is good. It's so juicy. I love it. For those of you who know me, you know that I am a programming executive, very, very passionate about the shows that we decide to do, he said, according to Variety. And the people who do them and the people who work on them. I want the shows to be great. I want people to love them. I want you all to love them. It's very important to me what you all think of the shows. When you think about that and then think of 2020 and 2021, I'm working from home and I'm doing an unhealthy amount of scrolling through Twitter. I come up with a very, very dumb idea to vent my frustration. He admitted that the 6 tweets over an 18-month period was not very effective, but apologized to anyone who had been involved. Obviously, nobody wants to be a part of a story that they had nothing to do with, he said. But also, as many of you know, I have progressed over the past couple of years to using DMs. So now when I take issue with something in a review, I take issue with something I see. Many of you are gracious enough to engage with me in a back and forth. And I think that is probably a much healthier way to go about this. Yeah, I mean, you can air your dirty laundry out in public, which is fine, but yeah. So he apologized because he got caught being stupid and everything, which is just great. I love this story just because he's just a little idiot. All right, you guys, that was my final story of the week. But tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about this bombshell report from Variety? I know I went on a while with that one, but how do you guys feel about this? Because this is crazy bones to me. They put this together. Some of the stuff, the Nina DaCosta thing was crazy. I understand the Jonathan Majors thing is a thing, but I say wait it out, because I say don't cast and then maybe do one or two more projects with Kang in it. Do Kang Dynasty and then wrap that shit up and do maybe have him in one more thing, because I'm sorry, Kang has always been a terrible bad guy in my opinion, and then making him the big bad was just a terrible idea, but whatever. But then also tell me, how do you guys feel about Hulu? Disney buying out Comcast stake in Hulu and paying this $8.6 billion. Sorry I didn't go through this story very in depth and everything. I just feel like I take up too much of your time all the time. And this story is a little boring. It's not exactly big, exciting news, but it is very interesting. And now, like I said, Universal is going to have all this money to buy up Warner Brothers now. So, good for them. I don't know if it'll be better for Warner Brothers than the DC. That's all I'm worried about is DC. So, and I mean, guess Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. But that stuff hasn't been as bad as DC, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, but tell me how you guys feel about that. Are you excited for this at all? Or do you just not care and everything? And then finally, guys, how do you feel about this Casey Bloys guy making people create these fake accounts so he can just troll critics? I get it. Some people want to say there's hate channels out there. But I'm sorry, no work of art or artist or person in general is past criticism, even if it's criticism you don't like. And like I said before, even though I don't agree with the woman that Vanderkalken, I don't know what her last name is, Vander Arkenach, even though I didn't agree with her criticism on Perry Mason, I still go, that wasn't that bad. And I mean, if I had seen it on Twitter, I would have just scrolled past it, because I would just I don't care. I'm I just think you're wrong. So, but it was pretty funny. His excuse was kind of annoying and stupid, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Yeah, but tell me what you guys think about all of this, how crazy it is and everything. But tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week on my weekend review. You guys have a good week. Bye.
Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my weekend review.